De Niro yesterday came out and ripped Donald Trump again.
Oh, God.
And he says Trump is evil. He wrote out a whole thing in a speech, want to be tough guy with no morals or ethics. Let me just read this to you, and then I'll give you my thoughts on this. So De Niro, keep going a little lower. The entire speech is at the bottom. Go lower, 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 lower. You'll see it when it's there.
I feel like
right
I
there.
read this article 3 years ago.
I know.
He does this every 6 months.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, though, okay? I'm sorry. I couldn't be with you today. A few days ago, I came down with a heavy cold. Okay, great. I'm with you in spirit. I'm watching. It's okay. Go. I've spent a lot of time studying bad men. I've examined their characteristics, their mannerisms, the utter banality of their cruelty. Yet there's something different about Donald Trump. When I look at him, I don't see a bad man. Truly, I see an evil one. Over the years, I've met many gangsters here and there. This guy tries to be one, but he can't quite pull it off. There's such a thing as honor among thieves. Yet even criminals usually have a sense of right and wrong. Whether they do the right thing or not is a different story, but they have a moral code, however warped. Trump does not. He's a wannabe tough guy with no morals or ethics, no sense of right or wrong, no regard for anyone but himself, not the people he's supposed to lead or protect, not the people he does business with, not the people who follow him, blindly and loyally, not even the people who consider themselves his friends. He has contempt for all of them. We New Yorkers got to know him over the years, that he was poisoned the atmosphere, literal ego. We knew firsthand who he was. We tried to warn you in 2016, the repercussions, Tribulation Trial in Arizona 2020. Okay, the man who was supposed to protect this country, put in peril, but of his recklessness, impulsion was an act of abuse. Okay,
how much
make
time
no
does he
mistake
have?
about it. The twice impeached, fourth time indicted. Trump is still a fool, but we can't let our fellow Americans write him off. Evil thrives in the shadow of dismissive mockery, which is why we must take the danger of Donald Trump seriously. So today we issue another warning. Okay, fantastic.
Jesus.
From this place where Abraham Lincoln spoke, right there in beating heart of New York, to the rest of America, this is our last chance. Democracy won't survive the return of a wannabe dictator, and it won't become over. Anyways, he keeps going. This is like ChatGPT
How many
of Robert
pages
De
is
Niro.
this?
But this is the point I want to make to what he says. Okay, great, got it. You said this a few
It's
years
like
ago.
Atlas Shrugged that just keeps going.
You know what he made? You know what he made me think about? This is what he made me think about. That Trump is a gangster. Okay, no problem. Who the hell chooses to become a president? One of two people. Okay, either somebody who is a gangster, or somebody who's controlled by gangsters that don't have a face to them. Which one would you rather have? So is Biden a gangster? No, he's just a face. Gangsters are controlling what he does. He's a face. Is Trump a gangster? He's a gangster.
Yep.
Is Reagan a gangster? He's a gangster. Is Kennedy a gangster? He's a gangster. Is Obama a gangster? He's not a gangster. He's controlled by other people. We can keep going on and on about all these gangsters. Okay, no problem. So I've actually spent time with gangsters, and like real gangsters.
Couple of
like any one of them that's living, I pretty much have them on the podcast, and we've spent time with them. Okay, we've had conversations on camera, off camera. And here's what I will say about the history of the mob. Whenever the boss was feared, people weren't going killing each other. It's just how it was in New York. Whenever the boss was weak, guess what people were doing? Going whacking each other. Why? Because the boss was not somebody that you feared at that level where he's going to come back and do anything to you. Okay, it was like, don't do it again, Adam. That's not cool, right? Versus, hey, you take the other made man out, or you put your hand on another, here's what's going to happen to you, right? There was a certain element of fear. There's three things that a great leader has to have. Fear, you have to be feared. Now, especially when you're running the most powerful country in the world, that's the hated and the loved and the admired, all three. You got to be feared, you got to be respected, and if desert, the last one is desert. If you can be liked, even better. Reagan was liked, Trump's not liked, okay? Let's just say among some of these other guys. Fear, respect is necessary. Trump was feared, and he was respected, and he walked around, love him or hate him. We didn't have wars. So going back to what you're asking about Iran, what he would do, here's what he would be doing. There's no 6-hour stand down or 3-hour stand down. Here's what we're doing. He's doing a, what do you call it, a press conference going out. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to. Remember that one time when he says, Abu Bakr, what was his name?
Baghdadi.
Baghdadi. He cried like, you know what he said to it. And you're like, who uses these words, right? He was begging. It was such a, can you pull up this video clip if you have it?
So
Obviously, it's almost like out of a movie. One day our kids are going to watch this movie about Trump and they're going to say, he would never say such a thing. No, son, go watch the real clip. He actually said that a president would never say something like that. But you know what? He did. So to me, this is the element where I have a hard time sitting here saying, yeah, none of this stuff is on Biden and U.S. I'm sorry. Nobody fears or respects or likes Biden. So guess what? All the gangsters out there are saying, dude, go and get everything you want. You know, hey, California, they say what? You can go rob CVS or whatever, all these stores. And say,
1,500
go for it, man. Go, guys, go. We don't care. We're okay with it. Newsom's more worried about Skittles than fentanyl the other day. You know, this guy's spending more time talking about Skittles. Go for it. So if Biden is a governor of the world, let's just say he's the president now, the free world, everybody else is saying, if there's ever been time to go rob and take whatever you want, right now's the time to do, because we have no clue who the hell is coming next. So yeah, De Niro, as much as I love you, your movies, your work, you're an incredible actor. Dude, you are so, at this point, off base. It's not even funny how much anger and hate you have towards this guy. And I would love to see you actually sell, rather than bashing Trump, why don't you flip it on us, De Niro, and sell us Biden? Go ahead. Sell it to us. Write the same kind of a novel you just wrote, but sell Biden. Sell us how amazing the economy is. Sell us how peaceful the world is right now. Sell us how everybody is so comfortable with their jobs, their houses, their mortgage rates. Sell us all of that stuff, how phenomenal he's doing. You can trash Trump all you want. He ain't the president. Biden's your president. What has Biden done? Why don't you do it? I'd love to see De Niro sell Biden. I don't know if he can do it. Maybe that's why he doesn't do it. It's easier to trash Trump than to go after selling us how incredible of a job Biden's done. Numbers came out the other day. I think it's the lowest
approval rating
that just came out about Biden.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts when you hear De Niro and some of these guys giving us a lecture here on who Trump is?
Well, first of all, you're Machiavelli. So one of the most important books ever written, really started the Enlightenment, is The Prince by Machiavelli. And we use Machiavelli as a pejorative, right? Oh, Machiavellian. We don't quite understand the brilliance or the insight of Machiavelli. Machiavelli was actually applying for a job. That's what The Prince was to the Medici family. He wrote a series of letters, and he was like, hey, hire me as your political consultant, basically, your political advisor. And what Machiavelli really wrote is, yes, I mean, there's a couple things. Ends justify the means, but that's such a small portion. It really is the most complete to date comprehensive picture of how to rule justly, how to establish order, and how to have different tribes and factions and sects be able to understand hierarchy, have you be respected, use fear as a weapon, as a tool. And he did it in such a profound way that, I mean, this guy knew his classics. He knew his Aristotle, knew his Aquinas and Augustine. Anyway, I happened to study The Prince over the summer, and it will blow your mind. And you know what? The more you read it, the more you realize how much the left plays by the rules of Machiavelli. Wow. If the right played by the rules of Machiavelli as much as the left, we would win. And I don't just mean the ends justify the means. I mean how to use political power. How to use political power. And you use that term gangster. Whew, I got to tell you, Machiavelli laid out that kind of playbook. Trump, I don't know if he's ever read The Prince or not, maybe back in college or whatever, but
probably didn't.
But he plays that out. Niccolò Machiavelli. He started the Enlightenment. So he was the first guy to ever say, wait, hold on, we have all these old books and all these old writings. Why don't we just cast that aside and get what we want? And that was,
by the way, Medici family, one of the only families that kept their wealth for 5, 6, 7 generations.
Yes,
it's crazy.
Vanderbilt couldn't do it. You know, some of these other families couldn't do it. Medici's been going for quite a long time.
Florence.
Which video is this? This is...
he cried like a baby.
Oh, I love this.
Okay, go ahead and play this.
I use this to go to sleep at night.
I don't know if this is the right one, actually.
Is this it?
I don't know.
The leader of the Taliban. You would obliterate him if he dared not to follow every dotted I, cross T, comma,
Boss.
period.
Abdul, I did. Had a conversation, had a number of conversations.
Didn't you at one point tell him, I know exactly where you are, and give him the exact coordinates where he was?
I sent him a picture of his house. He said, but why do you send me a picture?
Why is the music so loud?
I figured that one out.
You told the
What a
leader.
gangster.
I send a picture of his house.
It's very Machiavellian.
And then think about this, though, Charlie.
Yeah.
This is the amount of hate that they had for this one guy. Remember when he did kill Soleimani? You know what CNN was calling Soleimani? He's a freedom fight. Like they were almost feeling bad, and Pelosi and all them went after him for killing a terrorist. That's how much Trump derangement syndrome. It's embedded in people like that. It's embedded in people like Steve Schmidt, and it's past Trump. It's what they stand for.
Yes.
Is enough is enough. That strength that strength through peace. Like that's how we have to roll, Charlie. Like, nobody respects us. Peace to strength. Everything is going to shit, and everything. I am tired of this. Everybody, we're tippy-toeing. It's time that we start saying, "We told you so. We told you so about COVID. We told you so about the border. We told you that BLM was a scam, that they were trying to screw all of us over." How many times are we going to go, no, and brush it away? We told you. We tried to wake your asses up, and now you got him writing a soliloquy. Nobody gives a shit about De Niro anymore, but go make a movie. We don't have time to read that. He's just sitting around, Pat, in New York, just hating Trump. We have more shit to worry about than somebody worried about Trump, bro. Like it just drives me nuts.
When I hear De Niro, it's personal.
It's personal.
Trump got together with a girl. He was something. It's got to be something. You cannot. There's something that is so personal.
He hates
for him to have that kind of hate towards Trump.
I think you, because you have spent so much time with the gangsters and Michael and Sammy and a lot of our friends, you bring up a great point, PBD, and to any of my leftist or people on the liberal friends, I totally understand why it would be very easy to not like Trump at face value. I get it. But the whole, do you want a strong leader running the mob, the country, what have you? Or do you want a weak leader that nobody respects? And that's where you start to see some of the horribleness that happens over there. And to your point, who are the gangsters that are funding Biden or whoever the non-gangster president is? That's a very important point. I just don't want to just kind of gloss over that. It is something that is, when you peel back the layers of who's funding Biden, who's putting these things together, I totally understand why that makes a lot of sense. By the way,
you know this next debate that's coming up, the Republican debate, November, right? It's going to be Miami, the one that's going to be here. Yep. You're going to be able to filter out all the candidates very quickly.
Very true.
I think it's going to be like a pure filtering system. What did he just say? Wait, what did she just say? Are you serious about? Okay, that one's gone. This one's gone. I know exactly where he's at. I know exactly where he's at. And I know exactly where she's at. Okay, cool. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is going to be the fastest filtering system. Not that they're going to be doing anything with presidency. I'm not even talking about presidency. But for you to know, like, administration, job, future, who's...
Israel, Palestine. Because, Nikki Haley's going to be up there right off the rip talking about bomb Iran.
Why do you say that this one's going to be more of a filtering one? Because nothing happened in California. It was a shit show.
Dude,
why Miami, though?
Because now you have, like... When's the last time something like this happened in Israel? 50 years ago? I mean, this is like the biggest catastrophic event they've had since the Holocaust.
That's right.
Some are saying, okay,
most Jews dead.
This is not like, people are worried about Jews, in a sense of, how big the population is. It's 15 million people. You're not talking about 300 million Jews worldwide. You're not talking about 700 million Jews worldwide.
Half the world's Jewry.
Yeah. You're not talking, you're not talking about a big number. Don't get me wrong. The criticism and look at the power they have, the influence they have, the Hollywood and all this stuff, fair. We can have that conversation, no problem. But they're going to have to make their case and the argument, and I'm so curious now how they're going to make the case. Obviously, Vivek was on Tucker this last week, and Tucker said, Nikki Haley sounds like a child, right? And then Vivek tried to give her, protect her a little bit and say, I don't know about child, but I don't agree with what, he's got to say, what she's got to say. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a great filtering system.